Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, this is the first day of the first ever Ultimate Weight Loss Bundle. If you want to know what a bundle is, it's where a bunch of amazing contributors come together and offer this incredible amount of content, over 111 ebooks, courses, programs from over 100 contributors, some of your very favorite plant-based doctors, chefs, athletes, influencers. And it's worth more than $4,700, but it only costs $49 for these next 10 days. And I'll be going live 4 to 5 times a day with bundle participants so you can learn more about it. And I welcome today the Veggie Queen, Jill Nussinow. How you doing, Jill?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. But I have to say, I almost didn't make it because I was downloading some of the things on the bundle. And oh my goodness, it's overwhelming how much there is there. So I had to pick and choose a little bit and get about 10 of them. I contributed 2 Instant Pot classes and a breathing class. So I want to talk a little bit about that. But the interesting thing is I am going to do a recipe without the Instant Pot. I have my trusty Instant Pot back here, and I have another one over there. But, you know, one of the things that I truly believe as a registered dietitian is when you eat something cooked, you probably want to eat something raw. And so I got lucky enough yesterday to go to the farmer's market and get some things, which you may be able to see. So this is like really one of my fooler things that I do in classes and say, do you know what this is? And often people will confuse these two. So, you know, as a nutrition educator, I want to be sure that people understand. This is a green onion, and this is how I tell people they can know. You can, well, this one's a little small, but let's see, I do have a small finger there. I could stick my finger in here. It has a hole. This one could be a number of things. This has flat leaves, okay? And I have 2 of them. This is the very first of the green garlic, which is one of my favorite ingredients. And, you know, these are both in the allium family, which is one of the chapters in one of my books called Nutrition Champs. And they are both wonderful for you. And they're especially good if they're raw. So I'm going to be using these today in my recipe. And my recipe is a takeoff of a recipe that I have. You may or may not know, and may not care actually, that we just had a ban on Mexican avocados. The US did, because it's kind of a complicated story, but pretty short. The Mexican avocados must be certified by an American person. And one of the American people got, what do I want to say? He got threatened by the cartel. Nothing about drugs, but it was about avocados, whatever. So they banned them. And if you want to lose weight, here is a big tip from me. Don't eat a lot of avocados. Maybe don't eat any of them. So this recipe can be made with or without avocados. It has another of my favorite ingredients, which is a tomatillo. So I love tomatillos. They come with this papery husk, which you do not eat. You take it off, and they're a little bit sticky. And that's okay. They're in the tomato family. So I'm going to do all of this in my little food processor, which I'll hold up so you can see it. And I have a number of these, but I really like that size. So it's basically tomatillos. Now some people do take these and roast them, but I want this to be all raw. So I'm going to cut them up. I'm going to put in my green onion. You could use regular onion if you like, but I'm going to cut it up, even though my processor will cut it up. And the reason I'm going to cut it up is I'm just going to make it a little easier for my processor, which will be happy with me. The end of the onion goes into a special place, which will become my stock later. And I usually show people how to make stock. So I'm going to make just a touch of noise here with my processor. Now, the green garlic has a milder flavor than regular garlic. And the interesting thing is I'm going to cut off the end, and that also is going to go into my stock. Oh my goodness, this smells so good. So you just cut off the end, and it has not yet formed cloves. So this is a really nice thing about it. You can use all of it. And I'm going to put that in. It's milder than regular garlic. If you would like to add regular garlic to this, you certainly may. And I can use the entire thing from top to bottom. It is all edible. So it's all going into my food processor.
Jill, do you think can it be? We can't see what you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
And have you ever tried the purple tomatillas?
I have tried purple tomatillos. They're equally as delicious and probably a little bit better for you, because the darker the color of the fruit or vegetable, the more antioxidants it has. And this morning, Dr. Greger posted something about potatoes and how the purple potatoes are actually better for you than white potatoes, and the yellow potatoes are better for you than white potatoes too, which I thought was fascinating because, of course, I love purple potatoes. I'm just getting that blended up. I still have some pieces in there, but I'm going to be putting more in. So I'm going to be putting in the tomatillos, and I'm using 5 of them. You can put in more or less. And then the other ingredient, I have to say, that smells really good. It's a little strong at this point. That onion is actually making me feel like I want to cry, but I'm not going to. Tomatillos, and then I'm going to put in lime juice. Now, I also want to show you, and I didn't take it out. Oh, there it is. I used this morning. Zester. So you can take your lime and you can zest it with your zester, and all citrus peels have antioxidants and anti-cancer fighting properties. So they're really good for you. The only one that doesn't taste good is grapefruit, but lemons, limes, oranges, tangerines, all of that. So I put that in as well as the juice, but first I'm just going to blend it without juice. And I will show you, it's a little bit chunky, and that's how I want it. So it's still kind of chunky, and I'm going to put in the lime juice. And this is an organic lime, and I highly recommend, if you are going to use citrus and the peel, that you get it unwaxed, unsprayed, organic. Your juicer, the flat side goes down. The first time I used one of these was many, many years ago. Someone gave me one. I'd never seen one. And of course, I put it in the wrong way because it seemed like it was curved on the bottom. So I thought, oh yeah, I just put the curved part in, but you actually put the flat part in. So, and that's probably about a tablespoon of lime juice. Okay. Let me see how this is. Oh, it's looking good. Let me give it a little taste here. That's delicious. I don't even know what to say. It might be able to use a little bit of sweetening, but it's pretty darn tasty. One more blend. And you can make this as chunky as you want or as smooth as you want. And since I'm the only one eating it, I took my spatula that I already ate from and put it back in. So let me take this out so you can see it.
Hey, Jill, what's the difference between a scallion and a green onion? Are they the same thing?
They are the exact same thing. One is usually on the East Coast and one is on the West Coast. And when I wrote my last book, Vegan Under Pressure, we had to have like a whole discussion about whether they were going to be called scallions or green onions. And I voted for green onions because I think most people know them as that. They are different though than like spring onions, which I saw yesterday, beautiful red spring onions. And so here's this like sauce that you can put on beans. You could chop up your potatoes, which I made in the Instant Pot. I make like a little potato salad with this. You can put it on your beans to make burritos. You can do whatever you like with it. It's just a lovely little sauce to have. And I'm going to share something else with you, is that you can actually, if you add a little salt to this, you can ferment this. So I've been busy in my kitchen this morning. I wanted to share a couple of things. These are red onions that I am fermenting. I just put them in this morning, and you know what color? They didn't used to be this color like 3 hours ago. They're already starting to ferment. This is a fermenting lid, and I have a fermenting weight in there. So I believe in eating raw when I eat cooked, and fermented is one of them. And then I want to show you another, but I want to also show you, and I cook these vegetables, you know, I do cook in the Instant Pot. I have fennel in here and kale and carrots and all kinds of vegetables in here. And I could take that sauce and put that on here. I can also take these vegetables and put them in my air fryer toaster oven and get them kind of crispy, like roasted vegetables, which I did last night. There were carrots in there, colored carrots, beautiful. But I want to show you two other things, at least. These are my sprouts, and I teach sprouting classes. It's very easy. You don't have to buy them at the store. This was, well, it was a quart jar when I started. I've eaten them, which is what you're supposed to do with them. They're very safe to have at home. Often when you get them at the store, they can be slimy. These are at least 3 days old, no slime whatsoever. This is a mix that has clover and alfalfa, and it's delicious. And then I'm just starting some, and I thought, oh, well, this would be great. This is a clover mix. You rinse them. There's a special top on here, a sprouting top. And this will turn into something very similar to what I just showed you. You rinse them morning and night, put them in a bowl or whatever you have, plastic container, and just let them sit there. And these are a tray sprouter. And these are azuki beans, which are red beans, which I just started. I started sprouting them yesterday. And these are more sprouted. These are red lentils for sprouting. Not the ones that are split, but just regular red lentils that are for sprouting. And they're already sprouting, and they are already edible. And you probably can't see, they have a little tail on them. And so I can eat those right now. You can let them go 2-3 days. And so this is an easy way to add raw food, which raw food fills you up, as well as cooked food. And then here's my favorite part right here. So I'm gonna take just a short break because breathing is so important. And I have been teaching breathing classes since September. I do it through Zoom. In my part of the bundle, there is an intro to breath awareness class. And I would like everyone to just stop wherever you are, not in the car, just don't stop while you're driving. If you're driving, don't do this. But if you're sitting, I would like you to just take a 1-minute break for breath. So close your eyes, sit up straight, have your shoulders back and down, and just relax. And just settle into your regular breath all through the nose. So in through the nose, out through the nose, doesn't have to be anything special, whatever feels regular to you. And then what I would like you to do is take your dominant hand and place it on your lower belly and take a deep breath in through your nose and expand your belly. And then exhale, pull your belly in toward your spine. And when you breathe during the day, you want to feel this motion of the expansion of your belly as you breathe in and the contraction as you exhale. If you can make your exhales longer than your inhales, that's very, very good. So let's take a deep breath in, fill your belly, and then exhale through your nose and let all the air out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move up to a place where we don't often feel the breath, and that is the ribs. So you're going to take your hands and place them on your lower ribs, fingers pointing down toward your belly button. So they're kind of on the middle part. So like your middle fingers, your thumbs, which are not middle fingers, are actually resting on the inner part of your ribs, right above your diaphragm. So it's not on the outer part of your rib, on the inner part of your rib, fingers pointing diagonally down, almost touching your belly button, depending on the size of your fingers. And you're going to take a deep breath in, expand those ribs, pull your shoulders back and down, and then exhale and let your fingers come in. I'm going to do this 2 more times. Inhale, expand your ribs. These get stiffer as you get older. And then exhale. Inhale 1 more time, expand your ribs, and exhale. So now you know 2 parts of the 3-part breath, and we're going to stop. I'm going to have you focus on how you feel this moment, which is what breath awareness gets you to, is this moment. You don't have to think about before. You don't have to think about your next breath. That will happen automatically. And the more you practice this breath awareness, the more tuned in you become to right now and get you settled and comfortable. So I hope that was a good breathing break for you. It was for me. It always is. And then here is my last things that I want to show you, because I am a fungophile. I love fungus and mushrooms, which is what they are. And I'm going to tell you what I have here because they're really beautiful. I didn't get any regular mushrooms. I didn't have a chance today, but these are wild foraged mushrooms. These are black trumpet mushrooms. They come from the forest right near where I live in Mendocino, California. These might have come from Sonoma County. We're right on the border. And these are raw. And don't eat any raw wild mushrooms unless you know what you're doing. Also, don't eat any wild mushrooms unless you know what you're doing, because there's a saying. There's old mushroom hunters and bold mushroom hunters, but no old, bold mushroom hunters. And almost all your mushrooms should be well cooked. This is a beautiful specimen here. My husband doesn't like mushrooms. He cannot stand the smell of cooking mushrooms, so I can only cook when he is not around. Sometimes I have to go to my friend's house to cook because it's just too much for him and too much for me. So anyway, these are wild mushrooms. You can dry them. You can cook them. I haven't cooked them yet. And then what I have here, these are called Trumpet Royale. They're very, very large. They're a type of oyster mushroom. And there are some recipes online where you can cook these and shred them. I do want to talk a little bit about how they grow in just a moment. And all mushrooms are incredibly good for you. They are not vegetables. They are fungi or fungi, and they behave differently in your body and they feed your gut. This one is called Nebardini Bianco, and it is a beautiful mushroom, and you can cut it, you can break it, but they need to be well cooked. You can air fry it, you can sear it, you can cook it in the pressure cooker. And what I want to say about cooking your mushrooms in the Instant Pot is mushrooms tend to have a lot of liquid. So if you cook them in the Instant Pot, don't add too much liquid because it makes them soggy. So the general thing with mushrooms is you cook them dry until they start to release some liquid. And then as that liquid evaporates, then you can add a little liquid if you need it, just to prevent sticking. Now this mushroom, which kind of looks like a brain, is called lion's mane. And the interesting thing about lion's mane is it is good for your brain. So it looks like a brain and it's good for your brain. And you do need to cook it. It has kind of a crab kind of taste, people say. I don't know if I find that, but I do have to say it's delicious cooked and then put in the air fryer and cooked well. The other thing about lion's mane, which just like kind of blows my mind, but not really, because after listening to Dr. McDougall talk, it just brought to my mind, this is also good for your gut. And the thing I didn't say about breathing is breathing stimulates, you felt we put the belly out, put the belly in, that stimulates serotonin. And so what's good for your gut is good for your brain, and your heart also enters into that. So we have one body and it works all together. So later today, I will be cooking up all these mushrooms, probably pretty simply, maybe with some green garlic, ginger, maybe even some turmeric. I've been using fresh turmeric, which if you look at my microplane, you may see it's a little yellow. I've been doing a lot of grated turmeric with my microplane grater. And what I had this morning was really delicious. I've just been into this, is I had cooked steel cut oats with fresh grated ginger and fresh grated turmeric and a ton of cinnamon. And I can't think of anything that's probably better for your body to eat than something like that, except I love eating dinner for breakfast. So you'll often find me eating like this is too little, but like a bowl of vegetables with maybe some cooked beans and like a sauce like the tomatillo lime sauce on it. I mean, there's nothing that I wouldn't eat for breakfast that I wouldn't eat any other time of day, because I just consider it another meal. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you. My part of the Ultimate Weight Loss Bundle is 2 Instant Pot classes and an introduction to breathing class. You can find me online at thevegiequeen.com and elsewhere. So thank you for having me, AJ. This has been a pleasure.
My pleasure. And I have been posting your link for people to buy the bundle through your link throughout this broadcast. It will also be in the show notes. And tell me about your breathing class. Is it your voice? Because you have a very nice voice. I was getting very relaxed listening to you.
I do it. It is me. I actually tune in and do the class. I do it Tuesdays and Fridays at 8:15 a.m. Through Zoom, which, initially I was like, no, not Zoom. But now I love it because I have people from all over the country who join. And people have gotten a lot of benefit out of doing it. And honestly, you can breathe on your own any time of day. Just don't close your eyes while you're driving. But it actually changes your physiology to be more relaxed. It's really amazing. I did it for 2 years. I've done it for a little more than 2 years. And at some point I was like, well, actually, right when I started doing it, I was like, I want to teach this. But it took me a while to feel like I might be proficient at it. And we do a variety of breathing exercises. And yes, it's me. And when I teach breathing, I get even more relaxed. So one of my students said, it's like a legal drug. And it is. And I just love teaching it. So,
well, if people want to hang out with both of us the same week, we just found out we're both going to be presenting. This is the first time in the 10 or 12 years since we've been going there. Both Jill and I will be at Rancho La Puerta at the same time, March 12th through 19th this year.
Yep. And I'll be there the following week too. So I'm going to be there for 2 weeks. By the second week, I will be incredibly relaxed. And so, yeah, it's going to be great fun. It's just a pleasure to join you here, AJ. And I hope people will buy the bundle because they're going to get so much. There's so much to get out of it. But I highly recommend, if you do buy the bundle, pick and choose to start. Otherwise, you're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to have big time inertia. So somebody had a great idea, download it to a flash drive, and then you can decide, who do I want to tune into today? Because it's not just about one of us, it's about all of us. And with all of us together, I think we can make huge changes. So,
right, but just make sure that if you buy it, you do download it. That's the thing. You can't just buy it and like come back in 10 years saying, hey, where is everything?
Absolutely. So,
and the Rancho La Puerta is in Tecate, Mexico. Jill, it's like 2.5 hours from my house now. I drive.
You're so lucky. Well, I think people always like Mexico. I'm like, It's 1 hour from San Diego, and it's super easy to get there. I wish I could drive, but it's too far. But people can just fly to the San Diego airport. If they live in San Diego, they can park at the airport, or they can drive to the border. 1 hour till you get to Tecate. And I know, AJ, you think the same thing. It is one of the most amazing places in the world. So.
Wow. Well, let's see. There, Dr. Connie Sanchez says it's great to see you.
Oh, hi. It's been years and years. Thanks for tuning in.
That is so cool. And we got a lot of comments. People love your hair color.
Oh, well, you mean the natural color? Yes, thank you. I can encourage people to do the same thing. You know what it takes? No work.
Yeah. So what products in the bundle most interested you as somebody that's checking the bundle out?
Some people I know, which was Vicky Breck Gout. I don't know how to spell
it. Gak,
and Kathy Hester, and I think there are Kathy Fisher, and there were some people that I didn't know that I downloaded. It was like literally 45 minutes ago, so I wasn't really paying that much attention, but I thought it was all quite interesting. I did download Melissa's raw information. You know, I think there's just so much there that people could get so much out of it. Like I said, pick and choose, but download it all so that you have it. It's something for sure.
Well, that's great. I look forward to your reading class. Well, thank you so much, Jill. And I can't wait to see you next month in Mexico.
Yep. Until then.
All right.
Bye.
And if you want to buy from Jill's bundle link, just click below, and please come back at 4 p.m. today when we have another bundle contributor who's going to talk about her meal plan mastery, Shoshana Chime.